the Sun Group here at the University of Edinburgh, and we were introduced by our campus ambassador Angie to the SunSPOT technology, and we found them very cool, and we thought it would be great to do a project on them. The best way to familiarize ourselves with the technology is to do something cool. And we thought that head tracking is a very cool concept. We came across a video made by Johnny Lee of head tracking with desktop virtual reality. Some of you might be familiar with the concept, some of you might be a bit vague, so I'll try to introduce it. It's basically tracking head and then providing a correct perspective on the screen so that it acts as a portal or a window to this 3D virtual reality. I need to stress one thing before we start. The title of this presentation is but misleading, because that was our initial goal. That head tracking was our initial goal, but along the way we found out that it's more difficult than we expected. We tried to use accelerometer for the purpose of head tracking, but we found that it's too difficult for us. So in order to do this, we had to split into two groups, and I would like Konstant to talk about the Java 3D part.
Yes, Igor already said, in order to keep a good practice of making big and complicated things easier, we decided to break this project into two smaller parts. Me and my team were responsible for creating a Java 3D model, which consisted of basically three parts. Here you can see a system of 3D movable objects and movable camera. It's the scene itself with a movable camera which sort of shows the scene from different perspectives and moves around. Motion geometry is basically the math of the whole scene. And obviously we needed to provide some essential functions for linking it with the SunSPOT. So I guess I'll pass the words and you can talk guys about the SunSPOT.
So yes, I was responsible for doing the SunSPOT, for coding the SunSPOT, and it involved writing two different applications. One that would run on the SunSPOT itself and would collect data of the head movement, and the other that would run on the PC and act as relay between the SunSPOT and the PC. So as I said before, we tried to use the accelerometer, but we found out that there is no way to distinguish between movement and tilt of the device. And I'll talk later on what our ideas are to solve this problem. So we think that the one possible way to overcome this problem is to use an external device, an external sensor that would measure the angle the device is tilted, and then using some basic math, just use the accelerometer to measure the distance moved by the head. And Constant future project?
We had a couple of ideas how we could employ head tracking with the SunSPOT and do some sort of business projects for that. What I want to stress here is the educational value of SunSPOT, because there are three things we were able to gain from it. And the first thing was made us able to get a team, strong backbone of a team of people really keen on technology. And I would just like to take this opportunity to say once again thank you guys for a great job that we've done together, and I hope we'll do some great things together in the future. Another thing, SunSPOT provided us with some essential functions for measuring real walls. And even though, as Igor said, we haven't reached our final goal, we had a good practice with this technology. And another thing, we had some good practice with Java again, which is always good. Let's go on to demo this. Yeah, this is our 3D model. You see some planets flying around, and this is basically, as you probably guessed, this model of our solar system rotating around Edinburgh SunSPOT. Personally, I think it's a good idea. So you see, as Igor tilts his head to the left, the picture goes all the way to the left. And basically, as his head back into the original position, we can roughly see the picture as it was at the very beginning. And if you now tilt your head forwards, the picture will go down as if you're looking at it from the top. The same thing happens when you put your head down backwards.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much. Just before you... If I can invite those who were also on the team to come out to the front and join our project managers here, that would be great. The name's here.
Come on, guys.
Don't be shy, come and stand over here. You're all huddled in the corner, okay? First of all, I wonder if Mandy or anyone else has maybe a quick question for our key coders, or any sort of comment to make. Well, I think what we can certainly say is that a lot of hard work has definitely gone into that, and that, there's a lot of promise there. So we have obviously got you something to thank you for your work. So if you bear with me, Randy will dispense the awards.